Chapter 52, The Chance of Meeting That Got Away. Riel left Hyunaki's condo with a heavy heart, unsure of what her future will be without Hyunaki by her side. She felt her greatest regret, but she decided to face it, go away for a while and recoup. Riel went to a travel agency and inquired of a place not so remote, but she wanted somewhere peaceful. If there was such a place I specified, please book me in. Then the agent smiled confidently. I know what you want in your peaceful vacation. Hills and mountains surround this place, and you will also find some waterfalls. Since the site is away from the city and surrounded by mountains and water, the area is naturally cold but bearable. The temperature was cold or chilly in the evenings, dawn, and early mornings. So it would be best to equip yourself with thick clothes and coats. You can wear your swimsuit, swim in the pool, and bask in the heat of the sun when the sun is up. Most of our guests were foreigners who wanted to stay away from their freezing country, and most were Koreans because the resort owner was Korean. Riel mumbled. I can't seem to stay away from Koreans. Huh? The agent curiously asked. Is there something you're saying, miss? Riel smiled and said, no, I said it would be wonderful. So, how many days would you wish to stay in this resort? Miss Riel, I wanted to have a very long vacation since I've been working for over a year non-stop and had never had a leave since I started working. Could I take 3 to 4 weeks to stay in the hotel resort? Asked Riel hesitantly. We can book you for a 2-week stay, and if you wish to prolong your vacation to another 2 weeks, you will have to make arrangements with the hotel manager, explained the agent. That's well and good for me. Then, could you book me in? I want to be there tomorrow. Would that be possible? Yes, Miss Riel. Your flight will be at 1 p.m. and you'll be there by around 4 p.m. That sounds good to me. Thank you. She arrived at a hotel close to natural surroundings, where a small hidden waterfall surrounded palm trees and various large shady trees. They cleared the path to the waterfall with colorful flowers and leafy shrubs, and the sound of crickets and tweets of birds made the place heavenly. Her room was on the 2nd floor, decorated with fresh flowers, and her bed was soft and snug with pillows. The furniture was bamboo with cushions, and her window faced nature, which she loved most to wake up to in the morning. The hotel guests gathered in the restaurant for dinner at night. A band played music, and the singer had a melodious voice, putting the guests in a lyrical, comforting mood. The restaurant served food in a buffet, and Riel was satisfied with the sumptuous food she picked for herself. After that satisfying dinner, she thought of walking down the garden to stretch, for she felt her stomach was complete and that she had to burn a few calories before bed. She was captivated by the beautiful, elaborate, well-lit plants surrounding the garden, which calmed the senses and gave a pleasing feeling. She was so fascinated with the surroundings that she got lost in her thoughts. Day in and day out, Riel felt peaceful and enjoyed her stay in the resort. She once thought of the moment she had a fierce confrontation with Chul. Then she remembered that heart-wrenching moment with Hyun-ki, seeing him in a depressed state when she placed a closure on their relationship, having regrets for dumping him for Hwan Chul. Still, only sadness and guilt left her. She could not stand that memory of Hyun-ki, so she tried to remove him from her mind, accepting that they would never see each other again, thinking that what she did was hateful. She was sure that Hyun-ki hated her for it, throwing all the good things Hyun-ki shared with her, his love, warmth, embraces, touch, and kisses. A few days before the day of Reeler's wedding with Hwan Chul, Hyun-ki decided and booked a flight to leave the metropolis and fly to Hong Kong. Hyun-ki stayed in Macau after moving out from Hong Kong. There he stayed for 2 days, gambling and getting drunk. Then one morning, he woke up, still groggy and unhappy. He rose from his bed and looked at the mirror. He was astonished at how he looked. His face was lifeless and covered with grief. He looked old, he thought, maybe because his beard had grown on him. He then came to his senses, thinking, am I throwing away my life again to nothing? Was I returning to the same old me that I became worthless after losing Cecil, a drunkard and a gambler? Hyun-ki, wake up. He was telling this to himself, slapping his face. You must get out of here. Don't waste your life because of getting dumped. What if Riel regained consciousness and realized she needed me? Hyun-ki processed his thoughts, cleaned his face, shaved his beard, and showered. He notified his travel agency. I'm leaving Macau. Could you send me back to Manila today? Be it a business class or economy. I don't care. Just let me out of here, quickly. Hyun-ki arrived after 2 hours of flight. He was about to call Juni to fetch him at the airport lobby exit but had second thoughts. No, I don't feel like going back this early. I have to think. Those memories of Riel would only make me melancholy and lonely, so then he took another flight to another out-of-town rendezvous. Upon reaching his destination, he booked a shuttle van to his resort hotel. Once inside the resort, he checked in, then asked for the manager. The receiving clerk of the hotel reception desk wondered why he was asking for the manager, got a little nervous, and asked herself if she had done wrong, but called the manager anyway. When the manager appeared, his face lit up, and he was delighted to see Hyun-ki. Why? Hyun-ki, was I surprised? Then he turned to the reception staff and said, "This is Mr. Han Hyun-ki, the CEO of KORH&H and the owner of this place." Everyone jittered and fixed themselves to a halt, bowed courteously, and one of the staff called the chambermaids to prepare the luxurious suite for their guest and the bellboy to carry his luggage. "Why the sudden visit, man? And why were you alone? Where's your goddess fiancé, the one you brought to the condo before I move out?" Benny became so rapid with his questions that Hyun-ki flung his arms to Benny's neck as if to wrestle him to stop him from asking too many questions. "Enough of those questions, Benny. Give me time to rest. Will you?" "Well, okay. I would say dinner is at 8 p.m. You know where to find me. You can rest now. Then let us talk later." Unknown to Riel and Hyun-ki, Hyun-ki arrived a few days late from Rieller's day of arrival. Benny, who should have known about his hotel guests, overlooked Rieller's name and arrival. He had looked past the guest book, which he usually does but failed to do. Almost 2 weeks have passed by so quickly since Rieller's stay in the resort hotel, but because of the vastness of the resort, both Hyun-ki and Riel had never crossed the path. Their dinner time didn't match either because Riel usually took her dinner at 7, then took a stroll for a few minutes, then went straight to her room to read a book or binge watch on Netflix to pass the time. On the other hand, Hyun-ki was having a good time with Benny, and he even introduced some Korean acquaintances to him. Then one evening, after dinner, while Hyun-ki had a good wine on one of the couches in the garden, Benny and Hyun-ki had a serious conversation. "What happened, Hyun? Why did you come here alone? Was there something I should know?" entreated Benny. Hyun-ki continued sipping his wine before saying, "I lost Riel, Benny. She is married now, and the sad part was that she married Hwan-chul." Hyun-ki's face became sad, and he heaved a deep sigh. "Hwan-chul, your brother?" Benny couldn't believe what he heard, then asked, "But how and why?" Hyun-ki looked far away gloomily, then replied as he sniffled, "Riel had selective amnesia for over the years before I met her, and could not recall about Hwan-chul, but when she got her consciousness back, her feelings for Hwan-chul awakened. I lost her, Benny. It was unexpected. I thought if I could give all my love to her, she would still choose me rather than Hwan-chul, only to wake up one morning to a bad dream." Benny was at a loss for words. Then he put his arm on Hyun-ki's shoulder, patted it to console him and said, "Don't give up on love. Riel was not your destiny. A guest here might be waiting to be known for you. And she might be a Korean, like us. That would be better, isn't it?" Benny became optimistic. Many days passed, and on her second week in the resort, all Riel did to help pass the time was reading romance novels by the waterfalls. She felt the peace of mind as the water fell into the river, drifting into the depth of the sea as it flowed smoothly from above the hills. Then one sunny day, she thought of dousing in the swimming pool to bask under the sun. She saw the swimsuit in her luggage, which Hyun-ki had chosen for her to wear during their trip to Cebu. So she put it on, then put it around her the sarong to cover her body. As she came down to the poolside, Riel heard some friendly voices conversing close to where she stood. When Riel crept closer, the sound of one voice talking seemed familiar to her, and much to her surprise, she recognized Hyun-ki and Benny, and sitting beside Hyun-ki was a girl her age. Riel and Hyun-ki had been staying in the resort for 2 weeks and never crossed paths. But suddenly, Riel never expected to see Hyun-ki in the resort. What will happen next? Keep following more exciting Windows of the Heart series episodes on my YouTube channel and TikTok. Thank you.